It's Coco. I came by because I was told that I needed to explain myself. I've never been told anything like that at all in my life. No one really gets to do that to me. No bossing. I'm the boss of Coco. But yeah, so I guess whatever. I don't mind. I love talking about myself. So I figured I would do it, you know, in kind of true Coco fashion. In so much as like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay. And then I'm gonna give a little performance art about it, okay? So I don't know how much longer I can stay at this company. You know, I've done a lot of soul searching. I've gone on a retreat, you know, where we got a lot of colonics and learned to play the bongo drums. And it was very, you know, spiritual. And, you know, if you've been around, I don't know, who cares who's been around, who's listening anymore. But, you know, I've had the encounter with my two sisters, you know, that I didn't know I had. Jojo and Nono. And, you know, it was like, I don't know, to go through your whole life as an only child. And then suddenly out of the goddamn woodwork, to be confronted with the fact that you not only have like a sibling, but that you have two siblings and they're twins, and you are in fact a triplet, you know. So I don't know how many of you have had to deal with anything like that, but oops, I doubt it's very many, because I think I'm pretty much like really special about that. And then on top of all of this, right? On top of all of that, right? Here's the kicker. So we're identical, okay? We're the only set of identical triplets in the entire known world. And the only difference between our identicalness is our hair color, okay? We've got a redhead, we've got a blonde, and I am clearly a brunette. So, I don't know. That would probably rock your world too, you know, if you were to ever have to deal with such a thing. But I doubt that will ever happen to you, because I know that I'm very special and very rare. And I just don't really see how that's happening to anyone else. Okay. So, you know, with that bit kind of, you know, out of the way, I guess, you know, it's just also been like, what really matters, you know, what really matters now that A, I've got that information, and B, you know, this, how do we call it? You know, it's like a poignant moment in time, because it's a metamorphosis, it's a life change. It's naturally occurring. I have to say that it's like, it's not midlife because I'm not that old, you know, I'm not quite there yet, I'm still in my 30s. But I think that we're very mature, this generation, you know. And I've been really, you know, studying a lot of history and philosophy. And so, you know, I'm learning about our past and, you know, what the youth of the past have done wrong, and like what in the hell, you know, we're supposed to do now with this earth that we're inheriting, you know. And it's like, long story short, I mean, if you can even believe that I'm saying this, because I can't. But, you know, there's something about humans, and it's like, we need other humans, you know. And I don't really need anyone. I mean, it's still kind of the truth, you know, but I do feel that perhaps I'm better put to use, you know, studying patterns of human behavior. Essentially, I think I want to move into science, is what direction I feel like I want to go. Not necessarily sociology or psychology or physiology, nothing like that, nothing quite so, you know, no psychiatry, no. I'm talking more like, you know, government level kind of, you know, studying, researching human beings and odd conditions and running tests and things like that. Certainly no, nothing evil, nothing like that. But I mean, I don't know if you really put it all together, but it's like this house, that we've all been living in, this, what did they call it? It's like a wayward home for girls or what have you, how we all ended up here. Well, it turns out that's what this place has been, it's a madhouse. And they've been studying sisters this entire time, or if you're twins and you're cousins too, you qualify, but, it's been a science. We didn't know this, we didn't know this whole company was like a sham. I mean, it's sure they do make fashion and they do make art and they did all those things and that's true, but really they've just been studying us, and figuring out what makes us tick and all. So I think we're pretty much gonna get out of here. I think we're all gonna pack up and go. I don't know if we'll go our separate ways. I don't know if we can at this point, we're so ingrained, we're so used to each other. So we might put on an album first, while we're still here at Luxury Jones Enterprises. We've definitely had a lot of music therapy. So, I don't know, just getting back to our human roots, I mean, it is the end of a civilization. It is the death throes of, probably this round of human beings, right at the tail end here. So, we've just got to do what we've got to do, at this time. Try not to hurt, brush your teeth for sure. I highly recommend gargling with hydrogen peroxide. I think that would help a lot of people. Connecting with people, it's like, this has been few and far between these days because we've just been really busy, physically, just, and a lot of listening. It's very challenging to listen and to not, come back with a story about yourself, that relates to the person, and that's something I'm very interested in studying as I speak, about this new future path for myself. It's like, I do fully believe in the format of like, what is it, like Alcoholics Anonymous and everything like that, the whole like, I understand how you feel, and so maybe you don't feel alone, I get that. I really do. I think it's very powerful to feel not alone. However, my question is this. Does anyone else find that in the mix of that sort of jibber jabber, most often I find that people just really end up telling you a long story about themselves, and to be quite frank, I think also in this era, I'm no moron, so it's like, of course someone else feels like me. I mean, there's very few things that I encounter that I think only relate to me. However, that doesn't prevent one from being lonely or feeling alienated or having a really hard time getting back into the swing of things, calling up people and doing that. Doesn't, I know you feel like, I'm sure that you felt like this. I'm positive that someone has felt this low and this alienated and all these things. It doesn't, that's fantastic that I am not a loner, but I cannot help but to wonder if these things sort of need to change a little bit with the times, because I don't know how old any of you are, but it's like, listen, right? Okay, listen. Like, I grew up with therapy, this isn't new news to me, So with psychobabble having always been a part of my life, I'm just not that comforted by the simply not alone part. The part that I'm struggling with understanding is why no one can help anyone else, That's what I want to know. What would it mean for someone to help you when you're in a state that seems that wretched and that the relational, I've experienced this too, isn't quite cutting it, what else have we got? What's in the arsenal here, people? Are you willing to, is anyone willing to stop what they're doing and go to a person, Great expense, it costs a lot, You leave your family, your job, not everyone can afford to do that, I understand that. So I'm kind of trying to like investigate these ways of which people can actually put helpfulness into practical use. I need personally, if I am going to take direction, and usually I'm the one writing directions, but we can all change. Yeah, the question to me is like, I need instruction step by step. How do you take this concept that my mind fully comprehends and understands completely what it means, how it would help, what issues it would be resolving, but then the practical, do it, pull it off and do it now, right now. Don't talk about do the thing right now, do a thing right now that comforts and helps another person, takes something off their plate. Take something off of their plate. That's what I've come up with, that you could do to help. Because whatever it may be, and without having to necessarily ask them, I understand that you can't read people's minds. I understand. But if you listen to someone long enough, if you listen to your friend on the phone, you talk to them. You don't just Instagram message them and whatever, after a year or two of not hearing, seeing a post or something, you call them. You don't let them go. You track them down, you find them. And you listen to their troubles, Maybe you have the same. Maybe you're in no position whatsoever to offer anything but comfort and a good listening ear. Anyone can do that, even if you're down, just as down as they are. But perhaps you have something else, a little something more, to give. And I guarantee it that anything, any gesture of physicality and action pertaining specifically to that person's issues, not broad, not vague. You're having trouble, such and such, it's like money trouble. So you're having goals, setting goals, getting motivated. You're having trouble with your family connecting, you're having, just a tough time with the state of the world. You're getting all worked up over this, you're obsessed with getting married, you're getting older, you've got to have a child now, whatever it is, if there was something that you could do physically, back to ye olden days, even writing a letter, even if you could show up to someone's house, help them clean their house, spend a weekend with someone and getting them organized, so help putting in the time. It's not your job to keep it up, they may not be able to. But I think really showing up for someone and giving them your undivided attention, which I think is possible. I think we're all capable of it. And you can't do it for everyone. There's acquaintances, and then there's really great friends, and there's family, and there's levels, it's true. But if someone is a person that you say you really love, you love them, they are very close and dear to you. Picture this, on one side, you're that person, and you're thinking, you're asking for help, you're telling everyone what's wrong, you're telling them, you're telling your story, you're telling it in all kinds of ways, all your troubles. You're trying to get professional help, you're trying to do things. And while no one can come in and swoop and fix your life, you must be involved in it. Still, all of those of us who didn't do any activity that was pertaining directly and specifically to that person's issues, even if that meant flying to see them, or FaceTiming with them regularly to give them pep talks, or whatever you are capable of offering, whatever space you could make and give of yourself to them, we'd all be rummaging around, at their funeral, sobbing and saying, oh, we didn't know it was that bad. And I wished that I'd known. I wish I would have done more, And it's not even just suicide drama. It's just like anything, people are sinking, and even if we can't save each other, really, you can't solve someone's money problems and whatever, but you can listen, and then you can keep them in your heart and your mind, when you're out in the world, and maybe you'll hear something, maybe you'll hear an opportunity, maybe you'll hear, something that you think could, oh, this would be great for that person, and you've got them in your mind, you've got them on the top of your mind because you listened to their troubles, and you didn't simply, reflect and relate, which is, of course, done with the greatest of intentions, of course. But I think that if capitalism is, progressing, and, a greedy, lying, stealing governments, and, Bezos not paying his taxes, these sorts of things are like progressing, and like we're going to space and we're hanging out in space, and, we have, non-tangible monies and, you know, blah, blah, blah. If everything in the world is progressing, then I think that our like behaviors and the way that we treat each other ought to as well. You know, if you can handle social media and this just the whatever of it all, then I'm all for it. I just think maybe there's a little bit more, and I don't think we all have the tiniest attention spans in the world. I think that's just a choice, and it's a hard choice to make, to pay attention. It's very difficult. You can't do it for everybody. You cannot. No one has the energy for all that. It's just something to consider. Keep it in your mind. And if you hear someone in pain, or you see they've gone missing in action, action is the key word there. What can you do? Not say, do. We've all got to consider this on a day-to-day basis with people we don't know at all. Just gestures of kindness. And that you're listening without just reflecting it off of your own story, telling them a tale about yourself. Perhaps I'm the only one, you know, that thinks that this is an outdated method that is no longer exactly working. You know, we see each other on the internet every day. We know. We're all getting fed the same information, you know. We all grew up at the same time. Like, you know, we know we're not alone, okay? But then you are alone when there's no one there that will help take something off of your plate of problems. Even if you could solve one little thing for one little moment, you know. You could help someone get back on track. Hire them, give them a job. Help them look for a job. Help them fill out their resume. Going from artist to professional, you know. Take the time, it will be worth it. I guarantee it.